not a lot of teams have stopped Phillip Lindsay this year, but what do you do to slow a guy like that down in the game?
Well, there's not a magic answer. If there was, someone else would have found it before we did. He's a talented back, and to sing his praises would probably not do it justice. I think he's one of the not talked about backs out there that is very talented. His vision, he runs big, and he has speed, and his vision. He's a fun back to watch if you're not playing him, and he's been doing it a long time for him, and so we've by no means have not respected the tailbacks we faced thus far. But if there was a guy you're going to circle, probably going into the year that we have the utmost respect for, it would be him. He can play, and they do a nice job with him.
I saw Marcus kind of left Marcellus on the depth chart this week. What was kind of the reason for that? Is he showing you something that it wasn't earlier in the year? Or?
Yeah, it's just as we grade the video each and every Sunday. If there's if a guy earns the right to move up in the depth, then we do that. If in other cases it can be a guy plays poorly and moves down. But in the best scenario, we're able to shuffle that depth chart every single week. And that just means from a competitive standpoint that the guys are jockeying for spots. They'll all play. So there's not anything more to that than simply the first series of the game. But we'll see quite a bit of Pippins, and he's had a good week of practice as well.
Along that same line, how do you keep guys from getting comfortable at their position in the depth chart during a week of practice and trying to make that message that it's still competitive?
Yeah, and I think that ties into everything you want as you build a program. The best programs have that, and it's obviously you're preparing every week for an opponent, but it's the inner competition that provides that as best you can to protect against any type of complacency or regardless. The last thing you want is, regardless of my performance, I'm playing on Saturday, because that culture doesn't lead to the right type of results. So no, we want to create that competition and practice to the best of our ability, while obviously the main objective is preparing for that opponent. But we part of that too is we want to play as many guys as we possibly can. And once you earn the right to play, we're going to get you in there. And if you prove to be one of our best 11, then that's where you'll find yourself.
Is that something the defense prides itself on? It's just like having a next man up mentality with all the injuries and stuff that's been going on?
Yeah, you need to, and in every program, I don't know that we're dissimilar that way in terms of number of guys out or guys that maybe they'll be back this week or maybe in 2 weeks or all those things, and so that's not something that we talk about, because it doesn't matter. The scoreboard's the scoreboard. You don't get redos, and we have an anticipation from a coaching staff standpoint and all those players in the locker room that who's ever in that football game is going to be ready to play and play at a high level.
I think Renard said on Tuesday he kind of started to see the team let down a little bit in the third quarter of the game, and obviously this was a team that was pretty resilient when you guys played Boise State and had the big deficit. Is it easier for a team to get deflated on the road when kind of everything is against them and they don't have the support of a home crowd? Or
well, and I don't want to go against what Renard says, except that I'm going to. I didn't see that on the sideline. In a game like that, when things aren't going your way, that scoreboard get a whole lot more tilted in the other direction. Defense take the field after 6 sudden change opportunities and 2 other after special team plays inside the 50-yard line. If those guys relax and somehow quote unquote quit, then and you can say the scoreboard, what's the matter? You lost the game anyway. But I give the guys credit for having some semblance of resiliency, and I think the film would show that. It wasn't good enough. It doesn't matter how resilient you are. If you don't get the result, you don't get the result, and it goes back to what I said earlier. You don't get redos. But no, I don't think there's a moment in time where things went south. We didn't get it done. Give Cal credit, and obviously now it's time to move on.
Does Steven Montez present a lot of the same problems that Cepho did last year? Maybe not as much of a load physically, but can run it, can throw it, and do all those things.
Yeah, very much. I mean, you catch yourself a little bit, because obviously we review the games we played against them in the past, and you kind of catch yourself in terms of which one's at a quarterback. And Montez has played quite a bit over the years, specifically last year, obviously, in a reserve role based on injury and some of those things. So, he's a confident quarterback back there. And certainly, I think Lufau was at times it seemed very excited to almost be a fullback back there and get those tough yards. But they asked Montez to do the same, and then he seems more than willing to do so as well. He extends plays. He's got some pop in his arm in terms of driving the ball downfield. And he has a very, very experienced, fast receiving core that we've been dealing with for years around here that do a real good job. So he's got some weapons to take some of the load off of his feet.
I know the team prides itself being fast and forcing turnovers. Is there something else that makes the team stand out from other defenses around the country?
Yeah, I mean, you like to turn on the video and see a brand of football in terms of guys playing fast, playing hard, playing aggressive. You use the term playing downhill, trying to get in the opponent's backfield. That's the one thing off a week ago. I'm very, very disappointed in terms of our inability to get a takeaway. We're independent from the standpoint of no matter what our guys do on the offensive side of the ball from a turnover standpoint, that doesn't impede our ability to get a takeaway. So very, very disappointed that way, and that stuff wins football games. And so that's a major, major component of who we are, and proof positive that turnovers control football games, and we're coming off a week where it went the other way, but it still proves the point. So that's a major, major deal for us.
We've been hearing a lot from a lot of different people about the departure of the AD news and all that. What's your reaction and feelings about that, and how often do you end up communicating over a fair course of time with an AD?
Yeah, no, I have the utmost respect for Bill Moose, and obviously a major piece of the opportunity that I was given in coming here. And has been nothing but good to myself and my family, and I think the rest of the coaching staff would echo that. The facilities that he's provided us with and kind of had the vision for. Quite frankly, if they're not here, this is not an opportunity I probably would have looked into. If you walk into a situation where the facilities, based on where they were before Bill Moose, then that's probably right, wrong, or indifferent. That's just me being honest, and it's intended to give credit to this athletic department, and obviously that goes all the way up to those individuals that are writing checks. That's a big deal, and that's one of the reasons that not just myself, but many members of the staff are at Washington State. So, but beyond that, keep your head down, coach football, and obviously wishing the best.
You guys good?
Yeah.